The dopest motherfucker alive. Whoa, I gotta be the dopest motherfucker alive. Whoa, good God, I'm so great. When I walk, the whole earth shakes. I'm like,
in this prime. Yo, what's good, people? It's your boy Blunt here. Welcome back to Next Bus Please, MVP Live Show. Got a little quickie show for you today. I just got up to doing a radio show earlier today, so I'm a little exhausted, but the show must go on. And so I got a little something prepared for you guys. Not much, but a little something. And so I just want to say thank you guys for showing up. Appreciate it. And let's get it started. So, on some union business, right? What up, Vic? Some quick union business. The celebration of the birth. Is it the birth of America? I guess you could say that, right? Where the bus signs are going to be changed to reflect that. You see, now where is it? There we go. Yeah, I always do this, right? So the bus signs are going to be changed to reflect that, and I want to put up this memo, but I want to make sure that it is certain things are redacted because you're not supposed to be posting this stuff up there like that, right? So you're going to start seeing this. It started yesterday, I believe. Yeah, yesterday. So you guys can see that, in lieu of celebrating the 250th birthday of America, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority has programmed its bus fleets with new destination sign phrase which reads, "Happy 250th America." The phrase will cycle alternately with the current destination. So if you're going to Borough Park, you'll see the Borough Park sign, and then you'll see Happy 250th America. And it started yesterday, and it's going to end. It's going to carry all the way. What up, John? It's going to carry all the way up to September 5th this year. In addition to logging into the fare box and entering the proper destination code for each trip, which sets the destination sign on the front side and the side of the bus, all bus operators must ensure that the public relations, the PR button on the destination sign control panel is, that's internal stuff there. So after September 5th, all bus operators must resume using the regular blah, blah, blah as permanent bulletin titled proper setting for fare box destination and run sign. So there's some special note here about the Q70 SBS LaGuardia link. There's a special code for them. So the bus operators who are in consumer service that experience a problem should call the bus command center, the BCC, and record the information on the OVCR card. That is the operator's vehicle condition report. So I just wanted to get that quickly out the way because that is coming. That is should be happening. So guys should be seeing that right now, as we speak. Buses should be running on that new signage there, which is pretty cool. That along with the Knicks hat. I think that's actually pretty cool, and I haven't seen it yet. I've been outside. I didn't even check to see if I see any buses out here, but I think that's actually cool. Now let's get to some other stuff here real quick. Assaults, right? Assaults have been one of the major issues that we've been talking about on the show, and there was just a court case that was going on, right? Let me see if I can pull that up. Is this the right one? There's a major court case that's going on. I just got to pull the right one up. Is it this one? There we go. Yeah, I think it's this one here. No. Yeah. All right. So this was on the Facebook page for TW100, and let's read it together real quick. It says, "Here we go again." On Wednesday night, this was last week. On Wednesday night, another one of our members was violently attacked. I mean, this is it's hitting the news. I mean, we've been saying this before, for the longest right now, right? That the stuff that's getting reported is not indicative of what's really happening, because it's a lot more assaults that's going on than what they're reporting or what you guys get to hear outside of MTA. And so last week, says by Friday morning, we were in court supporting the conductor in a separate assault case. So they, assaults happening while they're going to court for someone who's already getting assaulted. It's crazy. So a 51-year-old train operator saw a man smoking an unknown substance on the platform and simply asked him, brother, please take it upstairs. The man responded by punching the member repeatedly, knocking him to the ground and kicking him before fleeing on another train. Our member suffered a bloody lip, fractured finger, and bruises. And he says, I'm just lucky he didn't have a knife or a bat or anything. He said, this is the reality our members continue to face just for doing their job. So that man is currently being wanted. Anyone with information should call NYPD Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS. That's 1-800-577-8477. I'm going to show you, I believe, a picture of the man. Yeah, this is the man that they're looking for. So burn that in your memory. Take a screenshot if you see him on your bus, on your platform, on your subway car, anywhere within MCA facility. Notify the authorities. There's the number on the screen, 1-800-8477-TIPS. We got to get these people out of the system, get them banned, get them prosecuted. What's good, Pete? What's going on? These people need to be prosecuted, and they need to be handed the full sentence, not a slap on the wrist. They got to start making examples out of these people so that it can deter the next one from doing it. It's crazy how you can go to work and then you have to worry about getting assaulted just for doing your job. The man simply asked him to take it upstairs. Take it upstairs. Can't smoke on transit property. And the guy flipped out. This is why I keep telling y'all, y'all got to first of all, the man didn't do anything wrong to get assaulted, but you have to be careful when you interacting with the public. Everybody, and I mean everybody, nowadays are on edge. And your simple conversation could be the straw that breaks the proverbial camel's back, right? I remember driving on the 35 and getting reality checked all the time, I used to say good morning, and people get on and they curse me the fuck out. Fuck you mean good morning? Fuck is so good about it, blah, blah. And I'm like, geez, you woke up like that? And so I had to stop saying good morning. I only say good morning to the people who say good morning to me. Seems rude, but I don't want to get cursed out every goddamn day. My day is going good. I'm at work. I'm happy getting you guys to where you need to go, and you cursing me out for saying good morning. So I just stopped saying it. So you just don't know what other people are going through. So please just be careful out there when interacting with the public. And if you see this guy, report him quick. Probably get some money. I don't see no reward offering, but you could always ask. Let's get this guy off the streets. He don't need to be there. What up, Big June? What's going on? Appreciate you joining me. So if you see him on your bus, if you see him in the subway, I don't think it said where this actually happened, but if you know, please feel free to let me know. I'm looking over the conduct a separate assault. No, it doesn't really say where it happened. But again, if you know of the story and you know where this was, feel free to drop it in the comments and let me know because I would love to know. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. What up, Primo? What's good, man? Appreciate you watching, man. Appreciate you stepping by, like always, my dog. Love you, man. It's just these assaults are out of control. They're out of control, and going back from day one with this show, we've been bringing it up constantly. You know, it's like, yo, we gotta attack. What up, David? What's good, man? Salute, my brother. We gotta attack this head on. You know, operator safety, not just operators, but transit workers in general, all of them, all the way from cleaners, clerks to towers, right? Operators, conductors, train operators, tower operators, everybody, you know, electrical, car equipment, MOW. All transit workers need to be protected. Simply doing your job, you shouldn't get assaulted for just doing your job. You should. Now, you know, like any other job, there's assholes amongst them. You know, that's not everybody. Most of the people in transit are pretty cool. You know, they're regular folk, just like you and me. Sometimes they have bad days. That's cool. My advice for anybody who's having a bad day, stay home, bro. Stay home. Because right now it's not the time to go and give attitude to the public. You know what I mean? Yes, David says, as a transit worker, we're just targets, sometimes self-inflicted. Exactly. That MTA on your shirt is a bullseye. And you got to remember, it's not a personal attack. They don't know you personally. You represent the company, and they feel like, you know, what papers like the Post that constantly shitting on transit workers, telling the public stupid shit like, you know, like transit workers are out there just banking. No, you know, you hear stories of transit workers making six figures, you know, six figures. I'm gonna say 600,000. No, not 600,000. That's a total exaggeration. You know, six figures, like 120,000, 130,000, or better. You know, or supervision who do even more. Those people don't have a life. Those people never go home. Those people sacrifice their personal lives to make that money. And it's not like they're robbing them. They're working. They're just working overtime, right? But the way they, you know, some of these papers report it, you know, you would think that they're banking and laughing all the way to the bank. No, those people don't even live after they retire because they work so much. So no, most people in transit, they okay. They may be comfortable, still living paycheck to paycheck. Some of them barely bringing home a paycheck because they got like 20 different baby mamas. But you know, such is life. Vic says, "Yep, took too many mental sick days." Yeah, and that's important, man. You got to take those mental sick days. I don't know if you could say that when calling out because you might end up the minute you come back, back going to Mac. They don't want to hear that. You got to say something else. But yeah, I mean, we got to get these people off the street. That's just what it is right now. Come on. Damon says, management puts us on a plate to be ridiculed by the public because of their stupid tactics of putting our business out in the public. Absolutely. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. Like, management, I don't know, man. It's like they have such a thing against their own workers. You know, a happy worker is more efficient. It's a more efficient worker, right? If you do certain things that make your employee feel recognized, feel appreciated, you can get more out of that worker like that rather than just constant berating them and disciplining them. That just makes people not want to work at all, you know. But their mentality is just the opposite of it, man. Yeah, Dave. Facts, Davis. Davis, you can't say mental day. It would be an immediate trip to Mac. The moment you come back, you going downtown. They gonna check your PP and your mentality. It's a wrap. You're gonna be going every 6 months after that. You say some shit like that. You know, you gotta be. Transit teaches you how to lie. I learned that a long time ago. When my ex first got into transit, that was one of the things that she brought home. Transit teaches you how to lie. You have to, because there's certain things you just can't say. You could be truthful all you want. I'll give you an example. One day on the job, they sent me down for a random. This is a true story. This is not hyperbole. One day on the job, they sent me down for a random. For whatever reason, I couldn't urinate. I was just going for a piss test. I couldn't urinate. They gave me a bottle of water, like as they usually do. You drink it, they give you an hour. Went back in, nothing. Nothing. Okay. Gave me another bottle of water, sat for the second hour. What up, Lourdes? What's going on? Gloria, Lourdes. I said Lourdes. Gloria, what's up, Gloria? How we doing? Right? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I to this day I don't understand why I couldn't go. I just couldn't go. And so what ended up happening, I maxed out the time you have to actually perform. So they say, all right, okay, go back to the depot and you deal with it with them. I go back to the depot. They hold me out of service. Not only do they hold me out of service, now I got to go to drug rehab. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Why do I have to go to a drug rehab? And according to them, federal law states that if you cannot produce urine, that is the same as being caught dirty, which I was livid. I was like, you got to be shitting me. So I had to do 30 days in a rehab. Right? And so while I was there, I made the best of it. It was nothing else I could do. I tried to tell him, if you could take blood, draw blood. If you need a hair follicle, take the hair follicle. Not happening. None of that was happening. Nobody wanted to do that. I just had to do the 30 days, and that was it. So while I'm at the rehab doing this, I met a couple of people. I made a couple of friends, but there was this one guy who. He was upset. I thought I was upset. I was just gonna go, I was just going along with it because I just gonna do the 30 days and that's it. This other guy, he took living to the next level. He was so upset that he had to go to the program with all of us. And he just kept arguing, and he told them, and this is what he's saying out loud. He said, listen, I didn't do anything wrong. I called them and I told them I'm not coming in. And when they asked me why, he told them that he was drinking, that he had a hangover. He wasn't going to come in. And we're like, dude, what the fuck? What do you think was going to happen? And every day he kept bitching about him being there. And they got fed up with him that they finally said, listen, if you don't want to be here, you don't have to, but your next step is going to be sleepaway program, where you're going to have to go away for 6 months, or I don't know if it was 30 days or 6 months or something like that, where you have to go away. They send you upstate to a in-house facility, where you have to stay. And he was like, nah, fuck that. I didn't do nothing. All I do was being the truth. You know, he was gone the next day, right? He sent his ass to stay. So I don't know if he actually went or he quit. I felt like quitting at that point too, but I stuck it out. Like I said, I made the best of it. I learned a lot of stuff. I made maybe about one enemy because the guy was just full of shit. He was caught snorting and he was trying to blame everybody in the mother except himself. And I called him out and I pulled his card. I don't think he liked that because I pulled his card in front of everybody. Oh well. Anyway, but I made the most of it. I did my 30 days and then that was it. But you know, that brings me to this new swab test that they got, right? I'm on the edge of that because there's some things that might be foul about it. But in my case, that would have helped me out because it's like instantaneous, right? So I wouldn't have to go through the program if I had that swab test. So in a way, I kind of on board with it. But I know there's a lot of people who are not, and they have legitimate reasons. You know, you could drop your complaints about it in the comments. You know, hey, let me know. Vic says, of course you can't say that. Only a fool would say that. Trust me, I was a step ahead, made the job work for me. Yep, I know Vic. Vic is a step ahead. Definitely. You got once you learn the ropes. Now here's the thing too, Vic. What up, Rob? Here's the thing. People like you, Vic, are gone because you're like, you know, you're the OGs, right? So you take the newbies under your wing and you school them. They don't do that no more. Not that I recall from now. You know, I'm on the outside now, but I from hearing what people are saying, they don't do that no more. OGs don't school the youngest no more. And a lot of the youngest that are coming in now, they act like they've been there forever. They act like they the OGs and they coming in brand new, you know, greenhorns, you know, and they acting like they've been on the job for 30, 40, 50 years. I see a lot of them on social media, you know, cursing out the OGs. Fuck you, you know, you should be retired, you know, go ahead and start living your life. Leave us alone. Let us do what we got. They trying to show you the fucking ropes and you being disrespectful. That's just this younger generation is how it is right now. And it's utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. And so we were talking about, I don't know how did we get to this part? We were talking about assaults, right? Because matter of fact, there's a court case. Is this the right one? Let me see. If this is, yeah. Speaking of assaults, right? I saw this also on the TW100 Facebook page, and that is this right here. We're gonna read that. Where is it? It's this one. Yeah, we're gonna read this together, guys. Listen, this was a couple of days ago on June 26th, right? You can see the TW Local 100 Facebook page. Because in the Bronx today, that was June 26th. It's not today. Local 100 officers and members gathered to support of an RTO conductor who was slashed across the face last year while working the 6 train. You see the level of violence that these MTA workers have to deal with every day. So today was the start of the trial for Isaiah Thomas, the man charged with slashing that left our member with a permanent scar on her face. She's traumatized. No shit. She's traumatized. The physical injuries are what you see on her face, but what about the mental injuries? This is important too. What about the psychological injuries? Said Aaron Morris, RTO Vice Chair. I'm gonna pause it right there because that is worth unpacking, right? The mental trauma, the psychological trauma that you face when getting assaulted, that stays with you forever. It doesn't go anywhere. And on this job, you can't say, this shit is fucking with my head. You can't say that. This is bothering me mentally. You can't say that They send you the Mac, take you out of service. Now you got to prove that you're okay. Now, how do you do that? You got to take a couple of days off, maybe a week, a couple of weeks off, go and see a psychiatrist to get approved to go back to work. Can't say that. And this is just the part about the job that I don't like, because if you're in a safety sensitive position, like an operator, a train operator, a bus operator, and your job title, is safety sensitive, when you have other people's lives at risk, there's certain protocols that you have to follow that you just can't ignore. And if somebody has some kind of mental anguish, you can't ignore that. You can't. Let me finish reading. Thompson, a recidivist with criminal history dating back to 2019, is facing multiple charges in the case, including assault in the second degree, which is a D felony. President Javi Cirillo said, "Our sister subway conductor, like all of us, is looking forward to justice being served. She was doing her job in the middle of the day when this man brutally attacked her, something that no one should have to endure, but so many of our members do." Thompson is due back in court this week, so he should be in court this week. If you know the case and you're following, show support, show up to the court case, sit down, show your support for our fellow conductor. Let her know that an injury to one is an injury to all. We hear that phrase all the time, but we don't back that up with our actions. You see it sometimes, but not like it should be. Not like how the NYPD back their people. Not like how the FDNY back their people. Or even sanitation backs their people. Transit is the only agency where it's like people are against each other. We work for the same company, but people are so against each other. The culture is just sucks. There are people currently trying to change that, but it's an uphill battle, and it has to be constantly fought. And member safety is of the utmost priority. I'm going to say it again. Member safety is of the utmost priority. It always has been, and it always will be if you're watching this show. I don't care who's doing what. If it's for the members' safety, I'm all for it. I am all for it. And that brings me, right, it's a nice segue to get into this next topic I'm going to show you real quick. And that is, I came across this post. I reached out to the brother. I didn't get a response, which, I'm already used to that. The brother's busy. I can't make excuses for him. I just didn't get a response. But I let him know that I'm actually proud. This is something. This is a rarity, right? At this point in juncture of the show, where I have props to give to the union. A lot of the times it's always something negative, and it's not that I'm bashing the union. I just need them to do what's right when it comes to the members. And this is something that we've been talking about for a long time on this show. And that is the partitions on the bus, right? You've heard me say it before. You watch me show videos. Brooklyn Pete also showed videos, talked about this in exhaust, right? Just constantly bringing this up because it's important, especially when COVID hit and they came out with those goddamn shower curtains from Bobby's. But I was proud to see this. Very proud to see. So I reached out to the brother and I let him know that the unions demand buses with bulletproof partitions. The union demands. That's what I want. This is a sign for me of becoming a leader, right? You know me. You know me. I don't call them leaders because they have to earn that. I call them elected officials. But this is a sign, it's just a clear sign of becoming a leader. Alexander Kemp, there seems to be a higher concentration of these violent attacks taking places on buses in more recent times, and there's been very little response from MTA. Very little response from MTA. He went on record to say that. And I applaud that, brother. I applaud that, brother. Because that is fundamental stuff there. This is what the union should be doing. This protection, bulletproof glass, will go so far in helping the morale of your operators, right? Knowing that protection is there. I mean, the flip side is you're going to have the assholes that's going to crank it up now because they know they're not going to get touched. We all know there's a quite a few of them in there where they're going to be like, fuck you can't do nothing. They're gonna raise the tap because they know they can't get touched. But for the most part, for the most people who are working on these buses, they're going to be relieved. No more hot coffee, no more hot tea, no more getting swung at, no one getting reaching over, swinging on the driver while he's stuck in his seatbelt, can't do anything. The level of comfort, the level of anxiety will drop dramatically with those bulletproof glasses. If I'm wrong, right? What up, Frank? What's going on? What's going on, my brother? If I'm wrong in this, tell me. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. That you wouldn't feel a little bit more at ease knowing that when you get on your bus, you're going to have a bulletproof barrier protecting you from the riding public. Everybody is on edge right now in this country. Not just New York, in this country. Everybody is on edge. People are hungry. People are confused or upset. The money's not right. Their money's short because of what these politicians are doing. And I don't care what side you're on, you're feeling it. You are feeling what's happening. It affects all of us. And so just to have that barrier, it will go so long into protecting and making your operators feel not just safe, but heard, appreciated, recognized, felt like they mean something to somebody. If the union ain't going to do it, then who's going to do it? So again, I applaud Brother Kemp for speaking out against that. I wish there was other issues he would speak on, but I digress. Leave that for another time. But yeah, this is the day I see that, I will be so happy. It was like getting ADA services for transit workers. When me and Pete was fighting so hard for you guys to get that because the services are super expensive and there were other services they were providing like chopper services where money was going to waste because how many times you heard of a MTA worker needing a chopper to get to a hospital? Here in the city, so that money could have went to ADA, which they actually did, and I'm very proud of that. I'm not saying that we alone did that, but we were cheerleading for that very hard on this show, and you guys got it, and I'm very proud to be a part of that. So when I see this, actually going to affect, you're going to see a brother that's proud again of the union for fighting for its members, which is what they should be doing. Give them a cookie; they deserve it. So again, I applaud Brother Kemp on that. Appreciate you actually speaking out on that, and I hope you continue that work. That's important. So now to some more. No, you know what? Wait. Before I even go there, I I got a little controversial video I want to show you guys, and I want you guys to tell me how do you feel about this, and what is the correct way of handling this. And I'm pretty sure everybody has witnessed this at some point in their career. All right, you ready? Here we go. Show of hands. Show of hands. Who has ever witnessed that? Have you ever get assigned your bus? You make your trip all to the fucking yard, to the farm, which is like 5 miles. And I'm exaggerating. You make the trip to the farm, and you go and you look at your seatbelt. It's tied in a knot. What do you think the proper procedure for handling that? Do you just hop in? If it clicks, then you take the bus. If it comes over, if it goes across your lap and it clicks in, do you just still take the bus? Do you put the bus out of service? Do you go back and you write it in your OVCR card? You put the bus out of service. Do you take 5-10 minutes trying to untangle that? What is the proper way of doing it? I personally say put the bus out of service. Write it up in your OVCR card. Take it to your, I don't know if you take it to them, but you leave it in the bus and you tell dispatcher, assign your new bus. I can't get the seatbelt to work, which is a safety situation, right? That's what I would say. It's a safety. Can't get the seatbelt, is tied in a knot, right? Now, listen, I get why some people do that, because when you're driving and you hit the brakes, sometimes that thing tightens up a lot on you. It can kind of cut circulation off. That's how tight it can get. And so you have to constantly take it off and readjust it. And so you just you get tired of that, you tie the knot so that it stays in one place, right? But the problem is you forget about it. Once you unhook yourself, you get off the bus, you forgot to untie the knot that you did. And sometimes you tie it so hard or so tight that you can't untie it. So now what? What is the next operator supposed to do? What if you're 150 pounds soaking wet, right? And you adjust it to you tie the knot, and it's adjusted to you. Here comes Bob, 250 pounds, 6'3". He can't get that thing around him. What is he supposed to do? Right? He can't untie it. So I say, write it on an OVCR card. Go back to the dispatcher, tell them you need another bus. That bus should be taken out of service. It's unsafe. Somebody has to go fix that. Have maintenance go and fix it. But you guys let me know if that's what you think it should be done, or if it clicks, take it. Some people don't care. They just say, hey, yeah, it clicks on me, I'm good. Let's go. Now you make a relief on the road, again, Bobby, 6'3", 250 pounds. He can't get it around him. He got a bus full of people making a relief. What is he supposed to do? He can't drive without it. He can't drive without it, right? I just think that's incredible. Grown men, grown folk. I'm not gonna say just men, because women do it too. Equal opportunity. Grown folk that do dumb things like that. You just mess it up for everybody. So if you're watching this and you one of those people who are guilty of trying to not listen, what you do when you driving is on you. It's not safe, but if you feel that's what's going to make you safe, you do what you got to do. But just untie the fucking knot when you leave. Untie the knot. And if you can't untie it, that means you fucked up. You tied it too tight, which is unsafe. So just undo it, man. We all grown here, man. We're all grown. You know, sometimes our own members shoot ourselves in the foot. You know, your worst enemy is your co-workers sometimes, right? They having a bad day, they bring it to work with them. Now you having a bad. Now everybody's having a bad day. Got to stop that. Got to stop that. Right? So then you have a lot of people who, I think I said this before on one of the earlier shows, how there's a lot of people right now that are just complaining on the MTAs, in particular the buses, right? I have yet to really see anybody complaining about the trains. I don't know. I haven't seen them complain about conductors. I haven't seen them complaining about train operators. Token booths, I used to see it. I don't see it that much no more, probably because a lot of them are just now customer service agents. But I used to get a lot of complaints about the attitudes of token booth clerks, right? Now it's more about bus drivers, right? There's a video that's been going around that's actually making a lot of noise about certain bus routes that are extremely slow. There was actually a study on it, but I didn't pull it. I just thought about the study just now, but there was actually a study on this, on which buses are the slowest in the city. But this influencer, he kind of did a video. I'm going to share with you because it's been making a lot of noise. So let's make noise on this show. Check this out.
5 buses that genuinely need limited service like right now that don't already have it. Number 5 on this list, we got the B1. I'm already sick of this, just looking at the photo itself. This is what I like to call the 86th Street Traveler because of how long it takes to travel. And like every non-limited bus, it makes every single stop because everyone is always at the stops. That's also exactly why the B1 is always mad packed, which is why I get stuck in the bus and I can't get off my stop because it's mad packed. Get off my screen, shoot. Number 4, we got the Q3. You're telling me the Queens bus redesign was for no reason? How is almost everything in like East Queens limited or rushed except the Q3? Like what? We had so much time to do that, bro. What happened? And the Q77 has limited service. Well, actually it's rushed, but still. You go to the entire airport and you're telling me that you're making every single stop before you get to the train station in the airport? Like, why? Next. Number 3, we got the Q60. You already know how I feel about this route. I actually like this route, just not during the daytime. I love it overnight, but just during the day, it's terrible. Aside from the Q44, this is one of Queens' longest bus routes, and like, it's just every single stop along Queens Boulevard, like, every single stop. Yes, I know, the train's right under it, but still, like, if the MTA already has bus routes that have limited service running above train routes, then like, why not give the Q60 a little bit of that? Even if it's like limited local, like, feel me? Q60, you deserve so much more. Like, I'm so sorry for you. Number 2, there's this, the B3. Same thing as the B1, except I just call this Traveler U instead of Avenue U. Just like the B1, always pretty slow, always getting packed and stuff like that. Like, it's B3 is just basically the B1, but 10 times worse because the streets are tighter. Well, actually, I'm not gonna lie, the B1 kind of does run under the train for like a long time, so the streets be hella tight. At least lower double parks along 86th Street compared to Avenue U like the B3, so like the B3 is just slow. It's already bad enough that it makes every single stop that it's local, so like, really, B3 gotta be more like him, the B6. But yeah, I'm tired of you, get off my screen. Anyways, honorable mention, we go straight to the Bronx, BX40 and the BX42. I don't got no photos surprisingly, but I got the BX40. You have 2 buses that run along the avenue, and not one of them makes limited stops. Like, what's the point of that? I will never, ever understand what the point of having 2 buses along the street is for. What's the point? Do something. I'm tired of you. Honestly, I don't even really gotta say much, because I'm not gonna lie, I feel like a lot of y'all's gonna agree with me, because like, what's the point? Speaking of agreeing with me, I know y'all should know exactly what number 1 is about to be. BX19, you will forever remain on my opposition list, like forever. Until y'all actually make the BX19 select bus service like in this photo, you will remain on my opposition list. As a route I lived by for almost my whole life, it's almost as bad as the Q56, and that's my least favorite bus route. So like, you're mad slow, and I know it's not the driver's fault for the most part, but like, the MTA really gotta combat the 19 some way, one way or another. Bus lanes, busways, or better yet, select bus service. But in fact, screw that limited service. We put in this entire select bus service, like straight up right now. In my opinion, every BX19 bus should have this little sign up every time it's in service, because feel me, 19 just feels illegal as hell. So that being said, let me know in the comments some more limited routes. Like, feel me, we need a lot much more limited service than we already have.
So yeah, you got, they're gonna complain. What can you do as an operator? You can only go as fast as traffic will let you, right? But he has a point, right? Some of these buses are extremely slow. I mean, he was really picking on the Bronx, I guess, because he probably lives in that area, and those are the buses that he travels mostly with. But I mean, here in Brooklyn, we have our slow buses too, right? Some of our routes are extremely long and take more than an hour. If I remember the B8 route when I was driving, at some points during the day, it could take over 2 hours to get from one end to the next, right? On a B8 during the day, it could take over 2 hours. And I remember saying to myself one time when I was driving it that, damn, I could have traveled upstate for the time it took me just to get to the other end of the route. It was ridiculous how long the route was. And sometimes people ride it from end to end. But one of the slowest buses I believe they said was the B16. I believe that was one of the slowest buses. But I mean, what is it? 8th Avenue it goes down. I forget which avenue it goes down. China goes through Chinatown. I mean, it's just 13th Avenue, 13th or 14th Avenue. There you go. That one. You got the one that goes down 13th and comes up 14th. 13th Avenue is almost a parking lot most of the time, right? You got so much traffic, trucks and everything. Certain people, people that are around just blocking the streets. It's ridiculous to get from what is it 36 maybe, is it 36 all the way to 50th or something like that. It takes so long just to get a couple of blocks. It's ridiculous. But what do you do? So I want, if you guys watching, name a bus route here in Brooklyn or where you're from, because he mostly named a lot of the BX ones. I'm pretty sure, I know Manhattan has a lot of them, and some of them are just going across town, and it takes so long just to get across town. But name your bus route that you feel is completely ridiculously slow, because that is just, I mean, what can you do about it? What can you do? I remember on the 35, and I'm driving, and it's like super duper traffic, massive cars in front of me, and I'm doing like 2 miles per hour. And this lady, she came up to me and she's like, "Driver, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "What do you mean what I'm doing?" "You're driving so slow." I'm like literally there's 5-6 cars in front of me. I can't, like, what do you want me to do? Like, she said, "Driver, I have to get to work. You're driving so slow." At that point, I just started chewing my bubble gum and looked out the window and just let her vent, because there's nothing I could do, nothing she could do. She could get out. She probably could have walked to work faster than I could have got her there. That's how packed it was. But that was on the 35, and that was like almost 10 years ago. So I don't know if it got any better now, especially now with the accordions. So you let me know. Yeah, Vic said, "Yep, that 8 was no joke." But you had jokers that were supposed to deadhead from Rockaway. Yep. Wow. I deleted that just in mid-sentence. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't help, right? When you have your leader playing games, and they played games a lot on the 8. Trust me, I know. I remember having my follower on my tail on my time, like right behind me the whole way down. So he gave his follower a double headway, and so that kills your paddle altogether, your time altogether. So I know when drivers play games, it just hurts everybody else. So I don't think that's going to change. I mean, they could crack down on it if they didn't have other things to do. That could be one of the things that they're cracking down on. But right now, their priorities are elsewhere, and so I don't blame them for not cracking down on that. As of right now, it's not a major priority, but at some point they need to straighten that out. All right, we got like a couple of minutes left, guys. This show be going fast when you really don't think it should be. I just want to end it with because with this medical issue, right? You guys know I've been fighting for transit workers to get their option for traditional Medicare put back on the table, and the reason being that this Medicare Advantage, when you're unhealthy, it's not a good plan. It's a diminishment in plans that you have, but if you're healthy, it's probably one of the best things you can have. But once your health declines or something happens, that's when you start to see problems. And one of the major things that I just came across a couple of days ago was how Aetna is closing down some of their plans. Look, I mean, you could fact check this. You could screenshot it, run it through whatever, fact check it. But Aetna, right now it says Aetna, the insurance arm of CVS Health, is discontinuing roughly about 90 Medicare Advantage plans across 34 states for the contract year 2026. This decision forces an unknown number of enrolled beneficiaries to shop for replacement coverage before the annual open enrollment window that runs from October 15th through December 7th. The exits come as a federal payment rates and tightened quality rules squeeze margins for insurances that cannot offset rising medical costs with higher government reimbursement. Now, when I looked into this, I checked to see if New York State was one of them, but we're not affected. Minor things are affected here, but not like they're saying here. It doesn't really affect New York State that much, but outside of New York, you're gonna have problems. As they say here, 34 states outside of New York, they're dropping the plans. They just discontinuing. So now you're forced to find another plan. And this is the active workers, you're on the job now. This is your future. This is your future because you're now enrolled in Medicare Advantage. And you don't have the option to go back to traditional Medicare. You can opt out. You can go and purchase and get your Medicare, traditional Medicare, but then you got to come out of pocket to get you a supplementary, and you got to come out of pocket to get you prescription. Because the 20% wraparound that MTA was covering, they don't do that on Medicare Advantage. There's no need for that. You're fully covered, right, on Medicare Advantage. So that's the uptake. Is if you're healthy, then you're good. You don't have to worry about that. The minute you start to accumulate problems, either health-wise, hopefully, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But the minute you start to get unhealthy or you have an accident, you're going to start facing problems. And this is a major, major blow. So please, look into your Medicare. Make sure you're covered, Yeah, Vic says stay near your folks, and if you leave, have an address, come back and get your checkup. That's what you're going to have to do. That is what you're going to have to do. I can't stress how serious this is and how important what we're doing to get your traditional Medicare back is. you know, and we're fighting an uphill battle because we're fighting against not just the MTA, but there's union union officials on the upper echelons that are fighting back against us, trying to get you guys traditional Medicare. So just be aware, and keep an eye out, man. You know, try to stay healthy. Again, we're not trying to take away your medical coverage. If you're happy with Medicare Advantage, stay with it. But the minute you get off, you're going to start to see the problems, and we're putting out the receipts about that now. Um, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse, but I have to because more people, especially active people, need to be concerned about this. And a lot of people now coming forth because it's affecting them personally. And I don't want to see that. I want you guys to be able to choose to have the option to go back to traditional and keep that 20% wraparound so they don't have to come out of pocket. And I don't want your children, if they're in the company, to have to face that option, the optionless, getting into Medicare Advantage without that option. I want them to be able to choose. You worked your whole life for it, and you're not getting it. But yeah, I hate to leave it at such a bad note, but that's just what it is, man. We did our hour. We appreciate you guys watching. You guys could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here, and for that, I greatly, greatly appreciate you. And I'm going to catch you guys next week. Appreciate you stopping by. Listen, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Share this out with your anybody who you think may be interested in watching something like this. And if you think I earned it, hit the like button or whatever. But just share it out. All right? I don't ask that much. I try to avoid saying that, but sometimes you just got to. Trying to get to that 1,000 mark, guys. Help me get there. Appreciate you. I'll see you guys next week. Peace out now. Love you. And fuck them if they can't take a joke.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.